Welcome to Mindgasm, your portal to the fascinating mysteries of history. Today we're going to transport you back to the 16th century, a time when Europe was undergoing profound changes. Amidst religious reformations, political upheavals, and the shadow of the Black Death, there emerged a peculiar incident, one that still baffles historians and scientists alike. Today's topic is the mysterious dancing plague of 1518, a time when the streets of Strasbourg were taken over by an inexplicable dance mania. In the heat of summer, people began dancing uncontrollably, without music, without reason, and without the ability to stop. Join us as we delve into this strange phenomenon, exploring its unusual beginning, its widespread impact, the theories and explanations behind it, and its lasting legacy. So buckle up, and let's take a deep dive into the past, to a time when the world danced to a different tune. Imagine a world where people suddenly start dancing uncontrollably in the streets. No music, no explanation, just non-stop dancing. This is not a scene from a movie, but a real-life event that happened in 1518 in Strasbourg, a city in France. In the heart of summer, a woman named Frau Troffea stepped onto the cobblestone streets and began to dance. Her movements were not a joyous jig or a planned performance. Instead, they were erratic, ceaseless, and seemingly involuntary. Despite the scorching heat and her increasing exhaustion, Frau Troffea could not stop. Her feet kept moving in a relentless rhythm, creating a spectacle that captivated and puzzled the onlookers. Her dance was not one of celebration, but of compulsion. Her body seemed to be in distress, yet the dance went on. Days turned into a week, and her energy waned, but the dance persisted. This unusual beginning set the stage for what was to become one of the most perplexing episodes in the history of mass hysteria and psychogenic disorders. And as if the spectacle wasn't strange enough, she wasn't alone for long. In a matter of days, Frau Troffea's solo performance turned into a massive group dance. Hundreds of people succumbed to the same compulsion to dance, seemingly unable to control their actions. This peculiar urge was not a joyful expression of life, but rather a distressing affliction. The dancers would continue their relentless jig for hours, even days without rest. Exhaustion, muscle cramps, injuries, nothing could halt their dance. Some, it is said, danced until they collapsed from fatigue or even died from exhaustion or heart attacks. As the epidemic spread like wildfire, it began to engulf a significant portion of Strasbourg's population. The city's streets were filled with people in the throes of this strange compulsion, their bodies moving to a rhythm only they could hear. The city's authorities and medical professionals were left scratching their heads. This was no ordinary disease with visible symptoms or a clear cause. It was a phenomenon that defied reason. They were caught in a whirlwind of confusion, unable to provide a medical or rational explanation for the uncontrollable dancing. And so, with no known cure or understanding of the cause, the city danced on the edge of chaos. The dancing plague of 1518 was a mystery that baffled the minds of the time and continues to perplex us even today. Over the centuries, the dancing plague of 1518 has baffled historians and scientists alike. Several theories have emerged, attempting to explain this perplexing event. Let's delve into some of the most prominent ones. First up is ergotism, a theory which suggests that the dancing plague might have been triggered by the consumption of rye bread tainted with ergot, a toxic fungus. Now, ergotism can cause hallucinations and muscle spasms, which could explain the uncontrollable dancing. But critics of this theory point out quite rightly that it fails to explain why the dancing continued for such a long period. Next, we have the idea of mass hysteria or mass psychogenic illness. The theory proposes that Frau Troffea's initial uncontrollable dancing sparked a sort of psychological wildfire, causing others to believe they were also afflicted and thus join the dance. This theory leans heavily on the power of suggestion and social reinforcement. Then there's the theory that social and religious factors played a role. Given Strasbourg's rigid moral code and repressive social environment, the dancing could have been an act of rebellion or escape. And let's not forget St. Vitus, the patron saint of dancers, whose feast day in June might have influenced the outbreak. Lastly, some believe that economic hardships, famine, and social stresses may have contributed to the phenomenon. While these theories offer potential explanations, the true cause of the dancing plague remains shrouded in mystery. The dancing plague eventually ended, but not before it left a lasting impression on the city of Strasbourg and the world. The city was left in a state of shock and bewilderment, its people grappling with the aftermath of an event that defied reason and understanding. The ordeal had taken its toll, lives were lost, and those who survived were left with the physical and psychological scars of their inexplicable dance marathon. The dancing plague of 1518 remains one of the most significant events in the history of mass hysteria and psychogenic disorders. It continues to be a subject of fascination and study among historians, psychologists, and medical professionals. It serves as an important case study into the power of the mind, the influence of group dynamics, and the potential effects of environmental and societal stresses. The dancing plague of 1518, a bizarre chapter in human history, serves as a stark reminder of the power of the mind and the mysteries that still elude our understanding.